Okay. So a very good afternoon to everyone and a warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us for another webinar hosted by Corporation Africa. It is great to have you with us. Please note that this session is being recorded, and as some of you may already know, Corporation Africa is dedicated to promoting and supporting cooperative development across the continent. This webinar is part of our knowledge sharing program, and it's an ongoing effort to raise awareness, share experiences, and strengthen the cooperative movement here in Africa. My name is Ebenezer, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. Please kindly take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us your name, the organization you represent, and where you're joining us from. Throughout the session, feel free to also drop your questions or comments in the chat or in the Q&A section. Today's session will run for about an hour, maybe about an hour and 15 minutes at most. Our speaker will speak for around 35 minutes, and then we'll move into questions and answers for about 15 minutes. We also have interpretation into French, so please use the interpretation link to access the language of your choice. Before we hear our speaker for today, for the benefit of those who do not know much about Corporation Africa, please let me say a few words about us. We're a membership organization registered in and operating out of Ghana with members from across Africa and beyond. We support cooperatives because, as businesses owned and democratically managed by their members, cooperatives help those members to achieve higher and a more secure standard of living. Cooperatives may be categorized into three broad groups, namely producer cooperatives, consumer cooperatives, and multi-stakeholder cooperatives. As an organization, we are of the view that if African countries have more and stronger cooperatives, they will be better able to provide more secure employment and better standards of living to their members. We strive to promote cooperatives firstly through country research into cooperatives, followed by advocacy. Secondly, through knowledge sharing events for those wishing to set up or grow their own cooperatives. And finally, by providing finance to support cooperatives. As part of our current activities, in addition to these webinars, we publish a monthly digest of news about cooperatives in Africa called Mapigo. You can subscribe to the news bulletin on our website. We have also commissioned 4 research reports into the enabling and inhibiting factors that affect cooperative formation and development in Zambia. And these factors include awareness about cooperatives, the political and legal landscape, a range of socioeconomic factors, and finally, financial and technical support. We plan to launch the findings of this research next year and then use the results to guide our advocacy efforts in support of cooperatives in Zambia. We welcome as members all those, whether individuals or organizations, who are willing to actively help to bring about a more cooperative and self-reliant Africa. Please see the membership section on our website and join us in building the kind of Africa you want. And so now to introduce the speaker for today's webinar. Our speaker for today is Mr. Andrew Kibira, who is a Field Services Manager at Kenya Cooperative Coffee Exporters Limited, KCCE, where he has served for 5 years and oversees field operations across Kenya's 5 major coffee growing regions, working closely with cooperatives and farmers to strengthen production, financing, and market access within the coffee value chain. He holds a Bachelor of Economics from the University of Nairobi and a diploma in agriculture value chain financing from the Kenya School of Monetary Studies. His professional experience includes financing cooperatives and individual farmers, managing cooperative asset portfolios, and conducting credit analysis to support sustainable cooperative growth. The Kenya Coffee Exporters Limited was established in June 2009 as a National Cooperative Society fully owned by the Cooperative movement and registered under the Cooperative Societies Act of 2004. It was formed in response to challenges faced by smallholder coffee farmers following the liberalization of coffee marketing and milling, with the aim of strengthening farmers' access to markets and improving returns. KCCE promotes, organizes, and undertakes coffee marketing for both export and local markets, linking smallholder Kenyan coffee producers directly to the global market. The Society has built a network of over 140 international buyers across all continents who purchase coffee through direct sales from cooperative growers. So I would like to now invite Mr. Andrew Kibira to please unmute his mic and talk to us about KCC. Mr. Andrew Kibira, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ebenezer. My name is Andrew Kibira. I'm from Kenya. I work with Kenya Cooperative Coffee Exporters Limited as a field services manager. And I think I'll just go straight to the presentation so that we can be able to understand and appreciate more what we do as a cooperative society in Kenya. Ebenezer, please confirm if you're sharing the screen. So that we can be able to proceed.
Please proceed. You can share your screen.
I hope you can be able to see my screen.
Yes, you can see your screen.
So Kenya Cooperative Coffee Exporters, KCCE, was founded in 2009, that is about 16, 17 years ago. It is it's a national cooperative society that is 100% owned by the cooperative movement in Kenya. That is by primary cooperative societies and coffee unions, which I'll be able to mention at a later slide. KCCE is registered as a National Cooperative Societies Act 2004 as a national cooperative society. So the main objective of KCCE is to support smallholder coffee farmers so that we can be able to promote, organize, and undertake marketing of their coffee. That is export and through the local market. Just to mention, in Kenya, coffee is sold in two ways. One, through the auction, which happens every Tuesday, Nairobi Coffee Exchange, and also through direct sale, where you can be able to look for international buyers who can buy the coffee directly from the growers. So the ownership of KCC, as you can be able to see there, is that in 2009, 73 primary cooperative societies were able to buy shares to form KCCE, and also 9 coffee unions across the country. So to date, KCCE is fully owned by 73 primary cooperative societies and 9 unions. And with that, we have been given a mandate to sell coffee for smallholder growers through their cooperative societies. And we have 3 licenses. One is a warehouse where after the coffee has been milled, we are able to collect the coffee, put it in our massive warehouse. Our warehouse has a capacity of accommodating 400,000 bags at any one time. And then we also have a brokerage license. This is where we sell coffee at the auction. And also, lastly, we also have a license to do direct sales, where we can be able to sell coffee directly to 140 international buyers. So, in terms of partners, the primary cooperatives are our major partners because this is where we get the coffee from. And with that, the farmers are the ones who form the primary cooperatives. As I mentioned earlier, we also work very closely with all the unions. We work with the, please mute on your side. We work with the CIC. CIC is a cooperative insurance company that it supports us in terms of insurance. We have Cooperative Bank that is also 65% owned by cooperative societies, and most of the primary cooperatives have their accounts with the Cooperative Bank. We also work very closely with Cooperative Alliance of Kenya, which is the umbrella body for the cooperatives in Kenya, and also International Cooperative Alliance. These are the major partners when we are doing the coffee value chain. These are people that we work very closely just to make sure at the end of the day, the farmer gets value out of his coffee. So the organizational structure of KCCE is that of a cooperative society. We have the annual delegates meeting, that is the AGM, where the members have meetings annually. Then at the annual delegates meeting is where they have been able to elect the board of directors, who are chairman of various cooperative societies across the country. Then the board of directors are able to appoint a CEO. Then after the CEO, we have 4 departments. We have operations and customer excellence manager. We have the finance department. We have the commercial department. And now where I usually work is the field services department, where our work is to go on a daily basis to interact with the farmers, to know how they are processing their coffee, what are the challenges they are facing, and any support they can be able to get. Once the coffee is processed, it comes to our operations and customer excellence department. They're able to warehouse the coffee. Then the commercial department is the one in charge of making sure they get the quality assurance of that coffee. Then they also look for market for the coffee. So they look the market through the direct sale and also through the auction. And then after all this, our finance department helps in making sure the farmers are paid on time. They are given the correct reports in regard to the coffee, how it was sold, how it came in. So in totality, we have a structure that is working and has been working for quite some time. So as I mentioned earlier, our services include commercial and quality assurance. Here is where we look for buyers who can be able to buy coffee for our growers. We have an independent camping lab where all the coffee that comes in, we have to make sure that we know the quality of that coffee. We're able to profile that coffee and also look for buyers after getting the quality analysis of that coffee. We have marketing services, where we are able to sell, profile our coffee out there, tell the people the story behind the coffee so that people can know that KCC and the primary cooperatives are there and they have good quality coffee. We have non-marketing services. Here is where we offer technical and advisory services to smallholder farmers. And this is aimed at increasing production of quality of coffee, and making sure there's good governance at the society level, and also better financial services at the primary cooperative society. We also have warehousing and shipping logistics. Warehousing all the coffee that comes across the country, we're able to warehouse in our licensed warehouses. We are also able to ship coffee across the world for our international buyers. All the coffee that we sell through direct sale, we have a department that on a daily basis makes sure all the coffee that goes to USA, goes to Europe, goes to Asia, all of it gets on time on the other side. So we have a number of licenses and certification to help us in doing our work in selling coffee on behalf of our primary cooperatives. We have an agency license, we have a brokerage license, we have a warehousing license, and we have also an independent camping center where most of our buyers come to cup coffee before they make orders in Kenya. In terms of certification, we have a Rainforest Alliance certification, we have Fair Trade, we have a Specialty Coffee Association for the US market, we have GSCC for the Chinese market, we have Food and Drug Association certification also for the American market. So for us, we don't have a challenge in terms of taking coffee anywhere across the world and getting to the other side on time. As KCCE, we have made a number of contributions to the cooperative movement in Kenya. And we have been, one of the things is we translate policy into action, which I'll be able to mention. We have been able to strengthen enabling environments. We have been able to promote inclusive and sustainable models. We have been able to access market and financing. We have also been able to ensure we foster knowledge exchange and innovation, especially for the primary coffee cooperatives. We have in total in Kenya, we have around 504 primary coffee cooperative societies. This is specifically for coffee across the country. So you can imagine my team goes around on a daily basis trying to support the cooperative movement, especially in the coffee sector. I just mentioned KCC being a national cooperative. This year, we had a 5-year strategic plan, 2025 to 2029, which defines our business objective and the ambitious course we want to grow in terms of sustainability. So also on our side, we try to mention this same to primary cooperatives, telling them that they have to have strategic plans which are very realistic so that they can be able to grow the societies. They need to know which actions they need to take in the next 5 years. They need to have timelines. They need to know where the resources will come from, and also the indicators. Please mute on your side. In terms of translating policy commitments to action, we are saying policies alone don't change lives, but actions do. So as much as you have a strategic plan, you need to ensure that you action and you're able to measure on a yearly basis some of these strategic plans that you have. In terms of strengthening enabling environment, KCC is supporting the coffee corp societies to operate efficiently, transparently, sustainably through trainings of board members. We have succession incubation of various unions like Embu Coffee Mill, Daya Coffee Mill, Tarakanidi Coffee Mill, which we have supported to make sure that they can be able to mill coffee in time and have better structures. We have been able to get market for local and international market, and we also been able to have capacity building so that we can be able to maintain the quality of the coffee, because coffee without quality it will not fetch very good prices. In terms of promoting exclusive and sustainable models, KCC has ensured over the years that farmers get value for their coffee. One is through having the best payouts in the whole country, timely payments that farmers are paid when the season ends, they get all their funds available. We can be able to account through documentation. We participate in farmers' education days. We also make sure there is transparency in all our dealings. This is just an example of payments that were done to primary cooperatives. The rate there is in Kenya shillings. So we have a society that paid 172 Kenya shillings per kg of cherry. This is the cherry is the coffee that the farmer has taken to the primary cooperative so that it can be processed. 172 is quite high, and I'm happy to say that all these societies here are societies that marketed their coffee through Kenya Cooperative Coffee Exporters, and now we are able to see that coffee has a lot of in terms of giving income to the farmers, it's giving them a lot of income. When farmers are being paid a high of 172, we are saying now we are able to say comfortably that coffee is good business. In terms of sustainability, as KCC, we have been very keen to make sure that farmers get very good payouts at the end of the season. As you can see from the chart there, since 2020 to 2025, we have had consistent, on average, farmers being paid 103, 139, 100.5, 130, 172. So what happens in terms of, for just to make it easier for people to understand, farmers deliver coffee at the factory level. It's processed, dried, it becomes parchment. It is taken to the mill for milling. Once it's milled, it becomes now the green bean, which now, as KCC, we are given mandate by the cooperative societies now to look for market for them. And that's why there's some coffee that we take to the auction and some coffee we sell through direct sale. So at the end of the season, after selling all the coffee for the farmers, depending on how much kgs you took to your factory, the society is able to calculate for you a rate, and they'll be able to pay you. So we have seen for the last 5 years the rates going up, which for us as people in the coffee value chain is a very good thing. In the 80s, there was a real dwindle in terms of payment for coffee, but for the last 5-6 years, we have seen farmers being paid really good amounts in terms of at the end of the season. And compared to other crops, coffee has better returns. In terms of enhancing market access and financing, we are able to have a direct trade and certification. We have linked Coffee Cooperative Society with ethical buyers across America, Europe, and Asia. One thing about direct sale is that the buyers of direct sale, they love consistency. They love coffee being processed the same way year in, year out, so that they can be able to buy from. So as KCC, we are very keen making sure these cooperative societies, in terms of processing, they process the coffee the right way. There is a local processing. We have invested in shared infrastructure, that is wet mills. We have assisted societies in terms of ensuring they have proper drying beds. In terms of brand development, we have societies like Odaya, Farmers Cooperative Societies, which is the biggest primary cooperative society in Kenya, having 14 factories and 3 collection centers. So it is big in terms of the number of societies that, the number of factories that it has. So we have really supported Odaya farmers. They have been marketing coffee with KCCE for the last 16 years, and we have really seen them grow. In terms of access to finance, which is very critical for the cooperative societies to continue growing, we have linked them to Cooperative Bank. We have also requested all the societies to get finance through the government, where the government supports them with cherry fund. Any farmer who has delivered cherry to the factories, the societies are able to request from the government through National Cooperative National New KPC, which is New Kenya Planters Cooperative Union. They're able to get cherry fund. This cherry fund helps them to get an advance as they wait for the crop to be sold, all of it at the end of the season. So access to finance is through the banks and also through the government. And we have seen for the last 2 years a lot of farmers through their cooperative societies borrowing the cherry fund in terms of billions. So it is something that is working, and coffee farmers are able to enjoy some of these funds at a the fund is given at 3%, which is really low compared to what banks are giving out there. In terms of enhancing market through direct sale, we are very keen. We usually try as much as possible to get these buyers to come to Kenya, appreciate what the primary cooperatives are doing. We even take them to farm visits so that they can be able to understand where the coffee is coming from. And at the end of the day, we try and make sure we get orders from the farmers, from the buyers, so that the farmers can be able to get better prices. You will find that maybe if you compare the auction and direct sale fetches more in terms of dollars compared to what the prices they get at the auction. We are very keen in terms of fostering knowledge and exchange and innovation as KCCE, and we have some non-marketing services that we do almost on a daily basis through the field services department. That is training board and management on leadership and governance. We also try to see how we can best increase production and improve quality by carrying out farmers' field days through our agronomist. We also train growers on financial literacy so that these societies don't go on a spending spree or even taking finance that they cannot be able to manage. So we also train them on that. We also link them to input providers, service providers, so that they can be able to increase production. We have been able to take, this year, we have been able to take more than 50 primary cooperatives for benchmarking across the country from one region to the other, so that the farmers can be able to improve farming practices from what they are seeing, because you'll find one region may be doing better in terms of coffee processing. So this benchmarking exercises really helps. We also offer value addition in terms of packaging, branding. We also have our own brand called Shiriki brand. You can be able to find it in local supermarkets. And we are telling cooperatives, societies, primary cooperative societies that are processing coffee, they can also be able to package and brand their own coffee and sell it locally, and eventually also sell it internationally. In terms of innovations, traditionally Kenya has been known to do what we call wort processing. This is where coffee is pulped and washed and dried. But nowadays, we are telling societies that apart from just the natural wet processing, we have new processes called natural coffee, where you don't have to wash the coffee, and this gives it a very unique flavor, because what you do, you pick red ripe cherry, then you just dry it, and because coffee has a lot of sugar, you are able to get unique flavor. So we are telling societies we move from the tradition to these new methods that are able to get better prices. Because I'll just give you an example: a 60 kg bag of coffee will fetch about $450. But for the natural, it can fetch over 550. So you see, there's a difference of almost $100 with this new emerging method. So we are going around to these societies, explaining to them how these new emerging methods look like. We are even training them, and we're even telling them we have a ready market, because we have buyers who want these new processes. So we are supporting them. We are telling them to start slowly, and with time, they can be able to perfect the art and get even better coffee. So as KCC, we have had a number of success stories and gains. In 2025, we were awarded by Cooperative Alliance of Kenya as the most improved marketing society, best managed marketing society, most efficient marketing societies. For us, this was a very big deal. And also, we have influenced grower payouts across the country. One of our biggest societies, called Njuriga, paid a high rate of 172, which is the highest ever in the country. So, and you will find Njuriga one of the societies that have also agreed to do the new emerging processing methods of coffee. And with that, they were able to pay their farmers really good rates. Other success stories is that we have over 140 international buyers spread in 20 countries and 4 continents. And these buyers are looking for what we call single origin coffees. These are coffees specifically from a region, from a society, from a factory, and they're able to go out there and sell that coffee in the same name as the factory. And over the years, you'll find because they love that blend, they will continue buying that coffee year in, year out. As KCC, we have championed coffee traceability conversation, certification, and permits. And you have seen the organization emerge as the most reliable and consistent organization in the region. We have also seen in terms of milling. Previously, we were told milling losses were high as 30%, but we have seen the milling loss go as low as 16% because of follow-up, because of even trying to know what happens at the mills. And this has really supported increasing the income of the farmer, because when you get high milling loss, it means some of your coffee so you'll only be able to sell 70%, but with at least 16%, we are happy to say that farmers are getting value for their coffee. In terms of grades, we have seen previously farmers used to average between 5 to 10 top grades, but now we have seen some societies having 70 to 85% of the top grades. This is mostly because of improving in terms of agronomy, in terms of processing. So the specialty coffee has become more, and at the end of the day, this means that the farmer gets more value. For us, we are very strategic in terms of milling. We have milling partners across the country. So we ensure that the unions mill the coffee on time, and when the coffee is milled, it can be brought to KCC for warehousing and subsequent selling the coffee. Also, as KCC, we have invested in a very robust value management system in terms of tracking and reconciliation of growers' accounts. So, for all our growers, we're able to account for each and every bin that we get from the mill, and we give them reports on a daily basis on where we are on their coffee, how much we have been able to sell, and how much they expect. And at the end of the day, they can be able to calculate even a rate at a very early time and know that their records are intact. We have, as I mentioned earlier, as KCCE, we have done coffee value addition, and we have an award-winning brand known as Shiriki. And this Shiriki coffee, you can be able to get it in your nearest supermarket. We have also expanded our local consumption through the Shiriki line of products to farmers, also to just support them. We have successfully incubated primary cooperative societies. Case in point, we have Embu Mill, Odaya Mill, Tarakanidi Coffee Mill that we have really supported them just to make sure they are able to get all the coffee from the farmers, mill on time, and also organize in terms of logistics how coffee comes from the mill to our warehouse. So we really work very closely with the unions and primary cooperatives to make sure there is seamless organization in terms of the coffee. So that's the long and short story of Kenya Cooperative Coffee Exporters. We have been in the business for the last 16 years. We are National Cooperative Societies, and our aim is just to make sure that we support the primary smallholder coffee farmer in Kenya. Thank you. Asante sana.
Thank you, Andrew, for such an insightful presentation. Please kindly type your questions in the chat, and once you type them out, read them out, and then Andrew will be responding to the questions. There's a first question in the chat which says, are there incentives for cooperatives that adopt climate smart or regenerative farming practices? So that's the first question for you, Andrew. Please kindly type your questions in the chat. Andrew, please, you can go ahead and respond.
Let me understand the question again.
Okay. So the question is, are there incentives? Do you have incentives for cooperatives that adopt climate smart or regenerative farming practices? So that's the first question. There's another question here which says, what roles have lawyers played? Okay, hold on. What roles have lawyers played in the process, either to support or to undermine these efforts? So that's the second question. And the third question is, are you the only Kenya National Coffee Growers Association? Are you a member of the national cooperative body? And how do you rate your ability to influence its policies? So these are the first set of questions, Andrews. If you need me to go over them, I'll go over them whenever you do. Okay.
Thank you. I'll start with the last question. In terms of the national cooperative, for that structure, we are the only national cooperative because in Kenya, we have the primary cooperatives that are supported by unions. Then after unions, we have now the apex bodies. So what happened in 2009, KCC was specifically formed by the primary cooperatives to support them in terms of marketing their coffee. So the structure for KCC is kind of unique because we have primary cooperatives that are supported by unions, and now the unions get support from the apex body, like now the Cooperative Alliance of Kenya. So KCC is unique the way it is has been formed to support the structure of supporting coffee. But we have bodies like New Kenya Planters Cooperative Union, that is a parastatal under the government, that also plays a similar role in terms of marketing coffee for farmers. But that one now is a parastatal under the government. I hope I've been able to answer that one. The other question that was asked on what role the lawyers play, maybe the only role I might say is when you are forming maybe a cooperative or a national cooperative or union, at that stage of formation is where the lawyers come in. But after that, there's no role for a lawyer, because the other one is just now the coffee value chain that comes into the other things come to play on their own, but there is no role for a lawyer at that after the formation of the cooperative, and once it's registered, now it continues to play its role. In terms of climate smart incentives, what I'll say is that the conversation has started. It has not been very deep in terms of that conversation, but it has started. I'll just give you an example, maybe for the EUDR, where now we are being told any coffee that is going to Europe, you have to have a certification for European Union Differentiation Program. So the conversation has started, and we are seeing now we are even now societies, we have to go up to the primary level to start that conversation and see how best you can be able to support the primary cooperatives to make sure, one, they don't cut down trees. We are talking about climate because it's really affecting coffee. Case in point, previously you could know the seasons of coffee. It was either December or April, but now you'll find coffee even in the month of January, February. So there's a lot of climate change going on, and now the conversation has started and it's ongoing.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrew. There are some more questions. The follow-up question to that is, to what extent do you rely on the SACCOs for any financing, and what are the reasons for this? The follow-up, the second question after that is, who determines the prices Kenyan coffee farmers receive, and how are these prices determined? And then what are the gender and age distributions of your primary members? So there are quite a number of questions. Do you want me to continue, or you would want to answer?
Let me answer these ones first.
Okay.
In Kenya, we have the primary coffee cooperatives, but we also have the SACCOs that are very well established in Kenya. So you'll find the primary cooperatives, they have a direct link to the SACCOs within their locality. So most of the primary cooperatives, when they want financing, maybe for operations, they will go to the SACCOs that are within their regions, and they are able to get financing. So for us, we don't have a hand in telling them you go to this SACCO or that other SACCO. It is for the primary cooperatives, because we find the members of that primary cooperative, most of them are the same members in the SACCO. So they'll just go to that SACCO and they'll be able to get the kind of financing they want, because SACCOs even go ahead and finance the individual farmers of the primary coffee cooperatives. In terms of who determines the prices, that one is demand and supply. In Kenya, we have a structure for there are millers, there are marketers, and we have buyers. So the buyers have been told every Tuesday there'll be a market for selling coffee. So there's the auction, the person who will bid the highest is the one who gets that coffee. So, like it happened yesterday, there was an auction, and all this, there are over 100 buyers at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. The one who will bid the highest, and it is usually very competitive. And the one who will bid the highest will be able to get that coffee from the marketer. In terms of gender, before I answer that, the one would also, the New York Coffee Exchange also determines a lot where the price of coffee will be. So by the time we go to the auction every Tuesday, we already have a reserve price of how much we'll be able to sell certain bags of coffee. So by the time you're going to the market, we'll just maybe say for the AA grade, the price is $400 for 50 kg bag. So the reserve price that has been set a day before determines also the how the coffee will be bought. The good thing is that once the auction is over, the farmer through the marketer has the option to either accept or decline the offer that was given at the auction. So within a day, you are able to get back to the cooperative society, tell them your coffee was bought at 400. Do you like that price, or do you think it's too low or too high? But as now as a marketer, we are able to advise the society and tell them this was a really good price. But also, you can, if you don't accept, you are allowed to withdraw your coffee from the auction until next time where you think you can be able to get a better price. And because of that, it is very competitive. It is based on demand and supply, and we have been able to see one of the highest prices in coffee in Kenya because of a very competitive Nairobi Coffee Exchange. In terms of gender, I'll say men constitute about 60% of most of the primary cooperative societies. Then women and youth will be the balance of the 40%. Basically, it's because most of the farms are owned by men, so the men will dominate most of the primary cooperative societies in terms of representation.
Okay, thank you, Andrew, sorry. There are more questions. So this question was originally in French. What does your work with the unions actually involve? And what role do the unions play? So that's the first one. The other one, second question to that is, are there any cooperatives in local processing of coffee? And what obstacles are there, if any? And then the third question to that is, what is Africa's share of the global coffee market? And what plans, if any, are there to create an African continental coffee growers' voice? So that's the third. There are two more questions that have come up, so you can just respond to this, and then I'll take the last set as we are nearing the close of the webinar.
Okay, thank you. For us, we work very closely with the unions. Now the unions, they have been given the mandate of milling coffee by the government. So you'll find once farmers take coffee to the primary cooperative society, it is processed, it is dried, then when it's ready, it's taken to the mill for milling now, from parchment to clean coffee. Now, most of the milling is done by the unions. And then once it's milled, depending on the society, it will tell now the mill, my coffee, I want it to be marketed by KCC, because we have also other marketers of coffee. So for us, we work with the unions very close in terms of logistics, ensuring coffee moves from the mill to our warehouse, so that we can start, one, by cataloging that coffee so that it can go for sale, and two, also getting to know the quality of that coffee before we able to sell it out. So that's how we work with the mills. In terms of local processing of coffee, all the processing of coffee happens at the primary cooperative society, actually at the factory level. That is where the farmer takes the coffee, it is washed, it is processed, it is dried, and then after drying, it's now when it goes for milling, and then at the end of the day, it can go for to be sold. In terms of the share of the global market, Africa, I'll say we are not doing very well, and we are not doing that bad. I'll just give you an example. The last time I checked, Brazil is the leading country in terms of coffee production. If I'm not wrong, somebody maybe can correct me. Brazil does about 38% of the world coffee, followed by Vietnam, then Colombia. So you'll find, if anything happens to either Colombia, Vietnam, Brazil, uh, any small thing, even if there's drought, if there's too much coffee, it affects the prices of coffee in these other countries. So Ethiopia is the leading country in terms of coffee in Africa, followed by Uganda. Then, if I'm not wrong, I think it's Cote d'Ivoire, Tanzania, then Kenya comes at number 5. But in terms of quality, Kenya, we are known for having the best premium coffee. So our coffee is usually used in the world for blending with other coffees, so that at the end of the day, it makes sure the coffee of other from other countries is blended with Kenyan coffee, so that it can have a better taste. So that is the global market in terms of where we are in coffee. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. We are getting closer to the end of the webinar. Another question we have in the chat is, thank you for your excellent, informative, and detailed presentation. 16 years on, the cooperative is doing very well. Can you clarify whether the producers of coffee are just growers? Their income has increased, or growers/farmers involved in other agricultural activities? Does the cooperative have buyers in Africa, and which countries? The next question is, thanks for the insightful session. How do you ensure consistency in quality and less disparity in farmer prices across the entire coffee cooperative members? Another question is, how do you source for financial needs to a cooperative? So there's a last question. I'll just throw that so that, what is the safeguarding nets? What is the safeguarding nets are provided? Okay, so what safeguarding nets are provided to those who do not want to sell their coffee to at a certain price? Let me repeat that. What are the safeguarding nets provided to those who do not want to sell their coffee at a certain price? Maybe we should use a supply and demand bidding system to determine the price of tractors and fertilizers. Yeah, so that makes up for the last set of questions, Andrew.
Thank you. Very good questions. So I'll try and answer them the best way. In terms of growers, do they practice other agricultural activities? Yes, they do. Coffee is seasonal, as much as it fetches very good prices. So farmers will also have a number of cows. He'll be taking his milk to the nearest dairy cooperative society. You'll find that some farmers also they do have tea bushes. Apart from coffee, they also do tea. They also do subsistence farming where they plant maize, they plant beans. So yes, you will not find a farmer only doing coffee. He will have other agricultural activities as also as he prepares his coffee. In terms of buyers in Africa, South Africa is the biggest buyer in terms of in Africa, mostly because coffee cannot be grown in South Africa, and also they have a very good culture in drinking coffee. I'll just say this: Africa, we are not known for drinking coffee, and it's something that we are trying to promote, telling people it's high time we start drinking our own coffee. We are very quick in doing export of our coffee, but when you tell Africans to drink coffee, it's not on their priority list. So even in countries, Kenya, it's about 10% of Kenyans who drink coffee. So that's something that I've just noted. In terms of consistency in quality, I'll mention what we do as KCCE. We have field services officers. When they wake up on a daily basis, they move to the factories where the farmers are delivering the coffee to make sure farmers, one, are not delivering what we call overripes. They are not delivering underripes, so that the coffee that will be processed is the red ripe cherry that will produce the best flavor. So, and also we train the factory managers at that lower level, and they're able really to support the farmers in terms of making sure quality. I can give you an example of some societies which have even gone ahead and telling farmers, but that one is practiced not in all areas, just a few societies, where they are telling farmers when you bring your coffee, you have to put it in water so that they can be able to get the heavy berries, and the others are called floaters. These are now they are graded separately. So such things are happening at the factory level, at the society level, to make sure farmers deliver only very good quality coffee, so that they can be able to get prices at the end of the day. In terms of sourcing for credit facilities, for us, we don't give any credit facility to the cooperative societies because by law we are not allowed to. So what happens is once a farmer goes maybe to a financial institution, and then the financial institution will just want to confirm where do you take your coffee for marketing. Then once he mentions that it is KCCE, we will write a letter of undertaking to the financial institution confirming that this grower or the farmer, in terms of the cooperative society, is we have signed an agreement with him to sell coffee on his behalf. And once the coffee is sold, we'll be able to remit the funds to the bank that where he's taking the facility. So for that, it has worked very well. We do a lot of letters of undertaking confirming coffee is being delivered, and we'll be able to pay to the financial institution on time. In terms of safeguarding nets that are there, is that, as I mentioned earlier, coffee can be sold through Nairobi Coffee Exchange at the auction every Tuesday, or two, through direct sale. Direct sale means a grower can be able, one, to look for a buyer internationally, But if he's not able, he can come through us and we are able to look for a buyer so that they can be able to negotiate for the price. Two, at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange, if you are not satisfied with the price of that coffee because just an example, like yesterday, 20,000 bags of coffee were sold, you can be able to compare and see where the average price of coffee is. If you are not comfortable with that price, you are given a period of 24 hours to withdraw your coffee from the auction so that you can look for a better price either next time or through direct sales. And that one has really worked very well in Kenya in terms of getting the better prices for the farmer. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the time and the presentation. We have come to the end of today's session. Please remember that these meetings are recorded and can be found either on the Cooperation Africa website or on YouTube. So please spread the word. And I would like to say a very big thank you to Andrew Kibira for taking the time to talk to us about KCCE and what they are doing in the cooperative space. I would also like to thank the interpreters, B and Laurent, and a big thank you to CA Executive Council members and CA staff. We hope to see you at the next webinar, and please don't forget to join Cooperation Africa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you and bye.